in Thailand. I am on the beach in Chumpon, Thailand, a little bit north of the city. I forget the name of this area, but I wanted to give a brief Tesla update. I'll give you a look at the ocean this morning. Nice little spot. So, first thing I wanted to talk about was what's coming with Tesla, and I have a wild scenario. I'm not saying this is going to happen, I'm saying I could see this happening. It's a little bit crazy, but it could happen, so let's take a shot at it. Hey, Da Booster, nice to see you. So here's my wild scenario for what could happen with Tesla as I ruminate on the topic here in Thailand. So I came up with this scenario, like how does Elon get 25% control of Tesla? How does the board vote him a pay package that would be sufficient to get him there, or a two-class voting structure? And I have a theory. So my theory is, there's a dog. My theory is, this is going to be my breakfast in a little while. My theory is that this is just a wild scenario. I'm not saying this is going to happen. That the Tesla board announces a plan for both retroactive compensation for Elon for what was taken away by the judge in Delaware, and forward compensation, aiming for, let's say, a $10 trillion market cap. I'm not in Pattaya, no. I'm in a place called Chumpon. So, I figure this happens in the next 6 months, let's say, maybe even in 3 months, that the board comes up with a compensation plan. I don't think they wait for the results of an appeal in Delaware, because that's going to be a year, probably, if not more. So they announce a plan. Maybe it includes shifting to a dual-class voting structure. I'm not sure. I see this as a moment where the big institutional investors and others who don't like Elon or don't like the threat that Tesla poses to established interests, like big oil, decide to buy a lot of Tesla stock in order to influence the vote. If they succeed in getting enough stock, remember the previous compensation package got something like 71 or 73% of shareholders to vote for it. Some number, I think institutional investors voted against it. Elon and Kimball did not vote their shares, supposedly, as I understand it. So it wasn't, like 90%. So if Fidelity, Vanguard, BlackRock, Big Oil, if the Saudis or ExxonMobil, whatever, certain large investors, George Soros hates Elon, if a bunch of large investors get together and say, hey, let's buy Tesla stock so we can vote no on Elon getting this compensation package, and maybe we drive him out of Tesla. In doing so, they would drive the stock price up. If there was a big effort by these institutional investors, by the way, can you all hear me okay? Can you hear the ocean in the background? I don't know how my voice is coming through over the background noise. I'm using an Android phone, my new Android phone, instead of my iPhone. So I have a better connection with the Android phone. So I expect they would drive the stock price up in order to buy as much stock as they would need to buy, because they probably need to get like another 20% that they have. Can you guys hear the ocean in the background, or do you not hear it at all? I'm just curious about that. So if here's another view of the ocean for everybody watching. I'm in Chumpon, Thailand. I'm going to be having breakfast here in a few minutes. So in order to accumulate enough stock, they have to buy a lot of stock, and that buying frenzy would drive the stock price up. My ballpark estimate is they buy the stock price up to maybe $400 a share. Now, if you follow Elon like I do, he plays 4D chess. So I extend the scenario by saying Elon anticipates the buying frenzy, and he anticipates what's coming next, and he sells into the buying frenzy. He sells himself from, currently he has about 15% ownership of Tesla. he sells himself down to like 5% ownership of Tesla in anticipation of this move by the investors, by those who oppose him. The vote happens. The investors win. The outsiders win. They vote no. The pay package is not approved. And now Elon announces, hey, I'm taking this as a vote, a shareholder no confidence vote, and I'm stepping down as CEO in favor of, let's say, Drew Baglino to take over as acting CEO. The stock then plummets, right? The market reacts to, holy shit, Elon's leaving Tesla, and the stock falls. So the stock drops from $400 a share all the way down to $50 a share. Because let's face it, a lot of us would be like, holy shit, Elon left the company. Stock falls to $400. I wouldn't panic because I still think it's a great company. I still think there's a lot going on. If Drew is active CEO, we're in good shape. So I hold and ride this train wreck down. At $50, as the stock is falling to $50 a share, Elon now starts buying. Remember, he sold his stock at, let's say, an average selling price of $300 a share. He has to disclose his sales, right? And then he has to disclose his purchases, but he doesn't disclose them the next day. You know, he gets like a few days, so he can time his buying into the buying, selling into the selling frenzy, time his buying into the buying frenzy, so that he discloses after it's over. And everybody's like, why is Elon selling? Because he knows how the vote's going to go, right? Why is Elon buying? So he buys it up as it goes down to 50. By the end, he now owns 30% of the company. He announces, hey, you know, he does an SEC filing, hey, I've accumulated this much stock, I now own 30% of the company. I've decided to come back as CEO. Let's have a board vote approving me coming back as CEO. The board hasn't changed yet. The board approves him as CEO. He comes back. These investors who were trying to drive Elon out lose, I don't know, about $500 million or $1 billion collectively. Elon comes back. When he comes back, he announces, hey, we're releasing version 13 of FSD, and it's no longer beta, and we're removing the nags. And, you know, it becomes extremely performant. It starts doing really, really well. And people start to figure out, hey, this is for real. And Tesla, by the end of this year, let's say, announces the first robo-taxi network trials in probably San Francisco, Silicon Valley, Bay Area, something like that, where there's already a robo-taxi trial going on. So, you know, whoever operates whatever the approval system is for the robo-taxi network for Waymo in San Francisco area, they would just apply to go through that. Now the stock goes up. Now the robo-taxi network becomes real. And the stock shoots up to $800 a share. The market cap is now, I don't know, $2.4 trillion. Still not the largest company in the world, but getting closer. And Elon is now close to, when you add in his SpaceX stock and his other assets, he's now a trillionaire. And on top of that, Starship is landing successfully. The chopstick, the launch tower has caught the first Starship returning from orbit by the end of this year, let's say. And you know, the value of SpaceX vaults. And as they catch the first Starship, probably into 2025 now, Starlink announces its IPO. Starlink IPOs, I think, at around $200 billion market cap. SpaceX probably is going to own 80% of Starlink. They're going to only IPO about 10 to 20% of Starlink. So SpaceX will own about 80% of that. And Elon owns about half of SpaceX. So SpaceX now has an effective market value. Ooh, sunrise. SpaceX now has an effective market value of somewhere in the ballpark of $400 billion, and Elon owns about half of that. So he's got $200 billion in his SpaceX stock. He's got close to $1 trillion, maybe $800 billion in Tesla stock. He's the world's first trillionaire. So I thought that was a scenario. I don't think Republicans are going to crush EV progress. That's a question that I just saw. So I want to move on. That's the scenario. Love to hear your thoughts. What? So are you wearing my shirt? I'm wearing the Discriminate Cogitandi shirt, which it means critical thinking in Latin. So I wanted to respond to, I got this comment from this guy, this particular guy, Alberto Fori on X, who's been like trashing Tesla, trashing Elon, and follows me for some reason. I'm not sure why he follows me. What could I see Starlink future market cap being? I think Starlink is $1 trillion. I have a video on that. I think Starlink is $1 trillion company, long term. When this happens, do I sell my Tesla stock and move to Thailand? I would move to Thailand now. I'm already here. I have not done any soapy massages, no. So this guy writes, this Cybertruck is no more than a gimmick with moderate utility. Alberto Fori, F-O-U-R-I-E. The Cybertruck is no more than a gimmick with moderate utility. Mark my words, Cybertruck will become a fad product even worse than Model X. So I'm going to respond. I responded to that. Cybertruck will sell 250,000 units a year in the U.S. by 2026. 500,000 units or more is possible long term a year. Thailand, Malaysia, Canada, and Australia are all also markets for Cybertruck, and I've heard there's huge demand in China as well. China is a really, really large market. I don't think they typically have pickup trucks, but it's a big market for EVs. I actually think Thailand, Malaysia, and Australia would be more markets for a smaller version of Cybertruck, or for my fantasy that Tesla makes a pickup truck based on the Cybertruck platform, based on the next generation platform. Then this guy also thinks, he says, some guy thinks Tesla needs to, the same guy who thinks that Cybertruck will sell less than Model S and X also thinks that Tesla needs to focus on Model S and X. Oh, so here's a big one. He's got a big, he had a big post and I responded with a big response. How do I get a Cybertruck without waiting 2 years? Apparently you buy one on eBay, or you buy one from somebody who's selling it for $250,000 like Ford did. So, and just for those who are new, I'm on the beach in Chumpon, Thailand. Chumpon, oh look, a puppy. Chumpon, Thailand is about 6 hours drive south of Bangkok. This is the Gulf of Thailand. Looks out on the Gulf of Thailand. So, again, Alberto Fori says, basically, when is FSD version 12 rolling out? This is a post from a while ago. When are we going to get to a version that does what it says on the tin? So version 12 is out. Now, his post was a while ago, so maybe he didn't know that yet. Maybe it wasn't out when he posted it. I don't know what it means to say, when do we get what it says on the tin? I assume he means, you know, FSD working without nags and becoming a robo-taxi. I don't expect to watch the Crew 8 launch, no. But you know, I think the thing with people being impatient about FSD is, look, we all want it, right? But, you know, it's not like Elon has some sort of magic wand to wave. The answer is more data, more compute. Andrej Karpathy told us this. You either believe in Karpathy or you don't. This isn't about Elon. More data, more compute. More vehicles generate more data. More people driving FSD beta generates more data. More miles driven generates more data. And as Dojo grows, as Tesla adds NVIDIA computers, they have more compute, and that's what's going to solve FSD. That's how machine learning works. He writes, why is it taking so long for Berlin and Austin to scale to installed capacity? Well, Berlin is up over 6,000 cars a week. I don't know if you guys caught that news. The head of Tesla's factory in Berlin was interviewed. It was a German interview. Look at Tesla Boomer Mama's profile on X. It's probably a few days ago that she posted the interview, and that there are captions in English. If you turn on, you can auto-generate English captions. So he said they're over 6,000 cars a week. They're growing. They're doing well. I think Austin is close to capacity on Model Y on the lines that they have in place. I think they've decided not to build more Model Ys there because they're already building Model Ys in Fremont, and they have enough for market demand. They just started scaling Cybertruck. They're working on the next generation. It may be that Texas can increase production of Model Y. I'm not sure. They've started scaling Cybertruck. That's early. They're working on next generation platform in that building, and that won't start ramping until late 2025, if not 2026. And then you've got Optimus going in that factory as well. So there's a lot happening in the factory. And there may be a van coming. We don't know. We've got a future vehicle programs that Drew Baglino casually mentioned in the earnings call without any explanation. He says Berlin expansion announced last year, 375,000 to 500,000 to a million. When will construction start? So the second 500,000 unit structure will probably be the next gen vehicle, and production will start in 2026 since Texas doesn't start until 2025. And they said Mexico would come next. So at best, the production of that factory section doesn't start until 2026. And German bureaucracy sucks. If you don't like how German bureaucracy has made it hard to ramp Giga Berlin and made it difficult to get things done in Berlin, then please move to Germany and start voting. How many years before full capacity is reached? Berlin seems to ramp slower than hoped. Please see my above comments about German bureaucracy. I'm sure it's Elon's fault that Germany has a shitty bureaucracy. People ain't going to buy an old design, and not everyone wants to drive the same car. This is a criticism of Model Y needing an update. Model Y was first produced in 2020. The car is effectively 2 or 3 years old. Most companies don't introduce a new version of a model in 2 or 3 years. It's usually like 6 or 7 years. So Model Y has a long road ahead of it. And Model 3 was just pretty significantly altered. I don't think the look was that different, but some people do. So, and the design of the car doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people want to buy in a robotaxi world. So if we're heading to a robotaxi world in 2 or 3 years, let's say the life of Model Y, design is up in 4 years. Well, if we have a robotaxi world by then, it doesn't really matter. Because in a robotaxi world, people aren't choosing the car for the look. They're choosing a car to get a ride. Which is more likely the year for a huge jump in the stock, 2025 or 2026? Both. Model 3 looks like a mini Model S, if you say so. Sorry, I'm going to switch hands. My arm's getting tired. I'm out of shape. These Android phones are heavy, baby. What's being done to increase the sales of Model S and X and make these models exciting again? I don't know. Model S is the fastest car. Model S Plaid is the fastest car you can buy, basically, for any reasonable amount of money, anyway. I don't know what you need to do to make Model S. It's the performance at Nürburgring is outstanding. Model X is still probably the most iconic vehicle on the road after Cybertruck, with those falcon wing doors. For those who don't know, I'm a Model X owner, Model X Plaid owner, it's funny that a guy who's saying that Tesla needs to focus, on producing large volumes of vehicles is now complaining about the low volume segment of the company. But I'm guessing that Tesla will re-engineer Model S and X, and probably Model 3 and Model Y after the next gen vehicle is ramping, because the gain in manufacturing from producing with the next generation system will probably be sufficiently great that it will make sense to make vehicles on that approach. And I think a Model S, a Model X in particular, if you come up with a Model X that's significantly larger than Model Y, but maybe not quite as big as a Model X, and you get rid of the falcon wing doors and you can sell it for under $60,000, I think then you start talking about being able to sell really high volumes, like 250,000 units a year instead of the current, 50,000 units a year. He says the new Taycan and Macan are coming soon and will eat more of Tesla's lunch. Yeah, because Porsche is a high volume manufacturer. We all know that people who buy Porsches are the same as the people who buy Teslas, and that's the same market, as opposed to maybe the people who buy Porsches are completely different. It looks like we've got somebody... Why can't I see that? Yeah, I don't have the ability to ban people from the chat, Mark. Normally when I'm on my laptop I can ban people from the chat, but I don't have that ability here. I raced a Tesla Plaid, I lost. I have a 2023 BMW. Are you on Team Gen 3 will be stainless? No, I am not on the Team Gen 3 will be stainless. They clearly have a paint shop plan. If you watch the unboxed assembly description and I don't know, was that Investor Day? When they described the unbox process, they specifically said the unbox process allows them to save paint because they don't need to paint the parts that don't need to be painted. So, and Porsche Macan, by going to this point that the new Taycan and Macan are coming soon to eat more of Tesla's lunch, the Macan doesn't compete with Model X, it's too small. And we're not worried about Model S and Model X. That's not the future of the company. What is going on with all this? User on this channel. Sorry, I can deal with these. Apparently, I can deal with these. I can stop people from commenting, Mark. I just have to do more work. So for those who don't know, there's been a couple of trolls in the chat posting inappropriate messages, and I just removed them. Maybe there will be more. Rob Markovich, hi Warren. Bradford's Megapack intel implies that Megapack production is plateauing. Could Tesla be self-constrained? Drew Baglino said that they will reach 40 full capacity in Lathrop by the end of this year. So no, they're not plateauing. And then of course Shanghai will be. I think there's a video just today from Wuhua about the mega factory being built in Shanghai. This guy, going back to, I think it's Alberto's post. Do you think Elon will send an over-the-air update increasing the mileage on the Cybertruck by the end of the year? Well, first of all, Elon won't do anything. Will Tesla send an over-the-air update? I think we've seen a history of Tesla vehicles being improved in over-the-air updates. I wouldn't expect a significant improvement, but it's possible. All-wheel drive model Cybertruck, Edmunds tried to trash it and then had to admit that it outperformed their range, the EPA range on their testing. They initially said it underperformed the EPA range, and then they realized, wait a minute, this has different tires. And on the tires that it had, it actually outperformed the EPA range. Alberto says, why no pushback on NHTSA and EU regulators for the ridiculous autopilot safety nags? This is made worse by not having a HUD or instrument panel in Model 3Y, whilst every other EV either has either one or both. I think if there's this, I've talked about this many times. One of the problems that we have in the world is STEDs. Now, a lot of people talk about STDs, which are sexually transmitted diseases, and they are a problem, and you do need to worry about it. And Thailand, where I am now, is somewhat known for having an STD problem. Also, the Villages in Florida has a reputation for it. I think that, STEDs are a lesser known problem, smarter than Elon diseases. And if you think that you know how to run Tesla better than Tesla, then, please consider starting up an EV company. The world needs more EVs. If you are smarter than Elon and you are more capable than Elon and Drew and Lars, God, the world needs more EVs. We need better EVs. Please get out there and make it happen. Do I think the storm in Nevada will convince people to buy a Powerwall? I don't know anything about the storm in Nevada, I'm sorry. I'm focused on the really awful weather here in Thailand. It did rain last night, lightly. When can we expect the arrival of the refreshed Model 3 Performance? I don't know why people are focused on low volume models. Look, I would love to see a Model 3 Performance. I'm excited about the potential for it. But, maybe you don't want to announce a new model that's really awesome right after you just announced a new model that's really awesome. So Cybertruck was just released. Maybe they're waiting for Cybertruck to hit some volume, for the branding effect of Cybertruck to fade a little bit. But I'm not sure why this guy is so focused on low volume models. Maybe he should invest in Porsche. Porsche makes great low volume EVs that don't have Tesla software and probably aren't as crash-worthy, and they're not as fast, but they're luxurious. So that's for you. Lost sales over a 6-month period is criminal. Yes. So I think Alberto needs to chill, but all right, let's see if I got anything else on Tesla. I think that's pretty good. Oh, there was a funny moment where a Polish politician said that He complained about Elon having strategic assets, including a social media platform and a space industry company, held by a potentially compromised individual open to foreign interference. A foreign politician complaining that an American is subject to foreign interference. Okay, I love it. If you're pro-Ukraine and you want the United States to give money to Ukraine, you complain that anybody who's opposed to giving money to Ukraine is subject to foreign interference when you're foreign and you're interfering in American politics. By the way, maybe putting Hunter Biden on the energy board, on a Ukrainian energy company board, was foreign interference. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I do want to mention one other thing. Car Dealership Guy. If you don't follow Car Dealership Guy on X, I recommend following him. He posted that new car inventory is rising fast, and he has a chart of all the vehicles, which I don't think I can. You can see that chart there. Tesla's not on the chart. Tesla's new car inventory is less than half of the lowest inventory on the list. February started with 80 days of new vehicle supply, the highest level since June of 2020. Expect the deals to sweeten up for most brands. In other words, Car Dealership Guy is predicting that other car companies will be lowering prices. And maybe these guys need to advertise. I don't know what the solution is, but maybe they need to advertise. All right, so did that area of Thailand get hit by the deadly tsunami? I don't know. Do I think Tesla will work with SpaceX for cellular connection with the Starlink satellites? No, I don't think that Tesla cars would benefit from... They don't need Starlink. I'm not saying it's impossible. How is that restaurant where you're having breakfast expensive? It's included in the hotel. So I'm paying about $50 a night for the hotel. Breakfast is included. What time is it? Yeah, it just started breakfast. Do I think the new $25,000 car next year will have Falcon Wing doors? No. No, I think that Tesla will never again make a model with Falcon Wing doors. New deleted message. You got another one? In pre-announcing the vehicle at this point. I think they will provide some hints at manufacturing efficiencies if they were trying to recruit manufacturing, but I don't think they want to do that. Am I excited about Crew 8 launch or Starship next month? I'm much more excited about Starship than I'm about Crew 8. Starship is the thing that really gets me going. Crew 8 is great, but we've done Crew 7, Crew 6, Crew 5, etc. We've done a lot of crewed launches. I think that I think that... No audio. What? Can you hear me now? Hello? Sound is back? Okay, I don't know what happened there. So, let me go back to a couple questions. Assuming next generation production begins to second half of 2025, when you would expect an unveiling? I don't expect an unveiling until I have not seen an $11,000 car from BYD. I actually priced what do BYD cars cost here in Thailand versus what do Tesla cost here in Thailand. It's about the same. They're surprising they're not undercutting Tesla on price here. All right, so listen, I'm getting the message that sound is not going well. So I'm going to wrap up this video. We're about 30 minutes. I didn't expect to go this long. So do I think the Roadster will be faster than a Porsche while towing a Porsche? No. So I want to thank everybody so much. Thank you, Mark Plott, for moderating the chat. This was a particularly difficult day with the chat, so I'll have to go through and figure out what happened there. But I appreciate everybody. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye. Maybe I didn't.